Getting on with your neighbours usually has something to do with having something in common with them. In Adelaide, one group of neighbours have a common interest that has not only brought them together, it's helping to revegetate parts of rural South Australia. These three neighbouring families here in Cumberland Park are all growing seedlings in their front yards under the Trees For Life tree scheme program. At number 6, it's Jake, Jazz, Patrick and Laura. At number 8, it's Jules and Scoobs. At number 10, Nick and Sue. Jenny Howe is the Liaison Officer for the program.
Want to see what's in the box? Yes. And here's the funny-looking tubes that we give you, and here's all the potting mix.
Trees For Life is a community not-for-profit organisation. We've been going since 1981, and we actually started with the tree scheme program. So that was our flagship program. It was actually just a bunch of community members like what we've got here in this street, and they got together because they were concerned about the rural rate of clearance that's happened in South Australia since 1836. I've got about 500 volunteers on my books, and I match them up with landholders who want to revegetate their properties.
Julian Scoob's Raynes have been growing for the tree scheme for 9 years. How did you get involved with Trees For Life?
Well, that started with our neighbours next door. So we started by helping them when they went on holidays, watering their plants and trees. That sort of gave us the itch to join in and help out.
Had you grown native plants before from seed?
No.
Okay.
No, definitely we were on our L plates, weren't we?
That's right.
We actually signed up to a workshop with Trees For Life because we thought probably a good idea to understand, to make sure we are doing it right and what the commitment is and what's involved. So very worthwhile.
So what are you growing here?
Sophie, we're growing the hot bush just in the middle here, and then down the end we've got the silver mulga.
Sue and Nick, you've been involved the longest. How did you actually start with Trees For Life?
I worked for a long time as a younger person in a wholesale native plant propagation nursery, and so sort of always had an interest. And then when we bought here in Cumberland Park, we joined Trees For Life and started helping out. It's a lot of work stuffing all the tubes to start with, and then obviously planting the seeds. I mean, you've got to water them 2 times a day. You've got to keep the water up through the summer period. There's a nice element of responsibility about it in terms of there's a landholder relying on these tubes to complete their revegetation project, so it's a nice thing to be part of.
The third family in this very productive row of households is missing Dad Jake today, but Jazz and the kids, Patrick and Laura, have got the seedlings well in hand. And how many seedlings do you grow every year?
About 500 to 600 seedlings a year.
That's huge. So that's 10 trays of these?
Yeah.
And kids, what do you love about this? Helping Mum and Dad?
Yeah.
What bits do you like to do?
Filling up the tubes. Growing them.
You like growing them? Awesome. Well, you've done an amazing job. With these 3 households right next to each other, already hard at work, 9-year-old Tilly from over the road is about to get her family planting too.
One of the neighbours came knocking on our door, and he said that, I heard that you were interested in gardening. And a couple of weeks later, I came over and we started doing this and like potting. And I was basically the one what was doing all the seeds.
Okay.
And then, yeah, it was really fun. It's really cool to doing gardening every day.
And is it good mixing with the neighbours and making new friends?
Yeah, it's really good.
Now, I know a little bit about you, so I know you love animals. And what do you want to do in the future?
Be a ranger.
I reckon growing trees is great background for that, don't you?
I like dig that.
Trees For Life collects seeds from 42 different zones around the state. The seeds are cleaned, weighed and labelled with the zone they came from, so they can be returned to the same place. This process is called Provenance seed collection and maintains the genetic diversity of the species when the revegetation occurs. Now, you provide support to first-time growers if they struggle germinating seeds?
That's right, yeah. They can ring up any time And if they have trouble germinating the seed, then we can send them an extra packet and we can sort of workshop through what might have happened and they can try again.
And what are first-time growers like?
Well, actually, Sophie, we find that our first-time growers are often our best growers because they're so concerned about getting it right that they read the instructions to the letter.
No, that's great work.
We actually do say that we actually get more out of this than we give. It's so wonderful to be able to be part of the program and know that for people who are families who are in our community are going to benefit.
It's certainly a competitive process. We're always looking over the fence, comparing our neighbours' seedlings with our own, and we think ours are always better, of course. Ultimately, the process takes a fair bit of work. We often share a bottle of red wine with the neighbours as we're stuffing the tubes full of all the soil.
To date, these good friends have grown 13,000 seedlings for Trees for Life. A fantastic effort from a great group of neighbours.